Okay, all of us have had like cake and cookies and soup and bread and all this great stuff. A lot of it may seem like it's like completely from different sides of the universe. Like some of it is dessert and some of it is like a main course. But all of it has one thing in common. It all contains butter. Making butter is like an old tradition that is self-sufficient and it tastes really good and it's actually better for you. And it, making something yourself always gives you that like sense of accomplishment, like, oh, I made something and it tasted good. Yay! So I'm going to talk about the history of butter a little bit, and then how to make butter, and then some of the nutritional values of butter. So for the history of butter, butter was actually, like the first time it's mentioned in history was about 4,500 years ago on an ancient tablet. So, it was probably like, this is how you make butter. Blah, 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 blah. But the word butter is actually from the Greek word boutyron. It means cow cheese, which is kind of ironic because they didn't use cows for butter. They used like goats and camel's milk. So they didn't even use cows really, because their cows are more for like beef and not for milk necessarily. Cows are more for like rich people. And one of the things I found that was really interesting was that butter, they used it as food sometimes, but it was actually really, really expensive and really like sacred. In India and Tibet, they actually only used butter in religious sacrificing things. Put the butter and melt it to the gods or something, I don't know. But people would also give it as like gifts for newlyweds. It supposedly meant like prosperity and fertility. So I don't know. And some people mainly in Europe, they loved their butter so much that they would get buried with their butter. Like, put it in the grave, but whatever. Butter has also been used for medical reasons. The Egyptians, they put it in their hair instead of like shampoo to make it all glossy and lovely. I wouldn't really want butter in my hair, but whatever. But they would use it for their skin, for like serum acne apparently, and like a bunch of other skin irritations. And it would like, if they had problems with their eyes, if you ate butter, then it would like cure it. I don't really know why. It's a little weird. But so now that you've learned a little about the history of butter, I'm going to talk about like how historically they made butter and then how they make it like in the modern days now. So, okay, everybody knows that butter comes from milk. Yes, and cows make milk. And what I started out with when I made this was heavy whipping cream, which basically you just separate milk into cream and like other stuff. I don't really know. So that's me measuring cream. And sorry about the picture. I had a blurry one that was better, but it was blurred so you couldn't see. So basically, I measured 4 cups, which is actually the whole carton thing, and you just stick it in the blender. Traditionally, I don't own one of these things, but this is a butter churn, and that's what people would normally like go up and down. And it takes about an hour and a half to do it. Mine took about like 10 minutes. It's a lot faster, but I put mine in a KitchenAid mixer, and that's what it looks like. So you can kind of see, like at first it looked like milk getting stirred around, but eventually it turned into solids, and then there was buttermilk left over. I actually brought the buttermilk. I'll get it out later, but it smells really bad, and that's what you like make buttermilk pancakes and buttermilk biscuits with. And if you make it with like legit buttermilk, it tastes so good. I made it with my grandma before, really good. So basically, when you're done with that, you like scrape down the sides and drain out the buttermilk, and then scrape down the sides and put it in a little container, and then you eat it with whatever you want. So that's what I did, and just a little fun fact about that. It takes 10.2 liters of milk to make a pound of butter, which that's like 5 2-liter gallon or 2-liter top things. Kind of a lot. Okay, this is the modern way, and it's kind of a confusing chart, but it starts with milk, just like the original one did, and you get separated out into cream. And for this butter, you have to pasteurize it because it has to be approved by the FDA or whatever. And, so they have to heat it up to really high temperatures to get rid of disease-causing bacteria. And then they cool it, age it, and this churning thing.
May I have your attention, please? Seniors, a reminder, senior picture will be at 8 o'clock next Friday with practice to follow at 8:30. It is mandatory. Reminder, seniors, senior picture at 8 o'clock next Friday with practice to follow at 8:30. If you have not turned in your times info sheet, seniors, please do so. This is your last day. That is the senior edition that they put in the paper. The last time I talked to them, they only had 60, which that means only half the classes got their info sheet down there. So today's the deadline.
Quit talking, lady. Okay. Go.
Good afternoon.
Are you kidding me?
The seniors are leaving. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so sad for the next week. But these are regular weeks. Nominated by Mariah Curran.
Try to
The
stop
nominee
the video.
was Justin Shaw. He spoke up.